In this video, we're going to look at how you can use asset partitioning in Hornbill to filter asset visibility for your users, so they only see relevant assets, not every asset in your system. And this is really useful if you have many assets spanning across different departments, or you're planning on bringing in other departments in Hornbill for a more enterprise approach. For example, without partitioning, when an end user or an agent raises a request, let's say they want to report a faulty camera. When they select an asset in the form, they will be presented with every asset record in your system that they have permission to view. So here, they'll not only see the facilities assets, including the CCTV camera, but they can also see IT assets too. And when there's lots of assets in your system, this isn't the best user experience. So with partitioning, the assets that they can see in the form are only ones that are in a partition connected to that service. And this is also true when an agent is working on a request and has access to assets. And instead of seeing every asset, they only can see the ones associated to the service they're working in. So there's a few steps to this, so let's take a look at how this is done. So let's start in the Service Manager configuration menu, and we navigate down here into the Assets section and to the Manage Partitions page. And from here, we'll create a new partition. You can give it a unique ID or have Hornbill generate one for you and give it a name. After this, you want to set the access permissions for your partition. Now this is done by associating a security or user role. If you do nothing, then anyone who has access to view assets will see the partition. And the access that you do set here will be overridden by the roles that users have. So if they can delete assets, they can also delete assets in this partition. Now we've created a partition, we need to add some assets to it. So under Manage Types, we can move assets to a partition either by category or by type. Now it's important to note that an asset can only belong to one partition. And if an asset isn't in a partition, it exists in a larger container just known as unpartitioned assets. And unpartitioned assets are available to all asset users. So before you create any partitions, every asset is an unpartitioned asset. Here I've jumped a step ahead and I have two partitions created with assets assigned to them. So the final thing left to do is to ensure the right partitions are associated with the right services so that they're filtered automatically for your users. And you do this in two places. The first place to configure this is the service settings from the service portfolio. Here I associated a partition with this service so that service desk agents or anyone working on requests for this service will only see these assets. As you can see here, there's also an option to select unpartitioned assets. Any asset not assigned to a partition is available here and is visible to everyone. The second place to configure this is in your intelligent capture form. So here we have an existing intelligent capture that uses assets in the standard way without partitioning. And this presents all assets for user selection when they raise a request. So what we need to do is update the form to ensure that only assets from our partition are presented to a user. So if I open up the asset form, which I'm already using here, then I can see that there's a new option to select a partition. From here, we have the choice of unpartitioned assets, a specific partition, or inheriting the partition from the setting we just applied in the service portfolio a moment ago. So if you make a change there, it means that you don't have to come and update the form here to mirror the change. In addition, you can also filter further by category and asset type and other asset properties here. So to round this off, let's take a quick look at how assets are displayed to any users managing assets. So here in the Service Manager application, we can see there is a drop down here to switch between partitions and unpartitioned assets. And whichever one is last selected will be visible on the next page visit. And that's it. We've created a partition with permissions for who can edit it. We assigned some assets to it and updated an existing intelligent capture form and a service to filter only assets in that partition.